Your mom is actively saying that someone else should have married your husband instead of you.
She's sus.
Would you rather face a home invader naked or with clothes? This is not a best friend, Opie. Are you sure she's not like a mortal enemy? I am already stressed because I am having a horrendous hair day, guys. So if you see me kind of playing around my hair a lot, it is because I am trialing or testing a new hairstyle for my upcoming wedding that I'm going to as a bridesmaid. So if you know a good product, guys, let me know. Let me know what your suggestions are for nice blowout curls. I want like VS hair, like romantic curls. So give me some suggestions, guys, if you do have them. Now, prepare to get stressed out because today's themes for these stories is we need to talk. Whenever you hear that line, you know things are about to get heavy and intense. So let's get into our first story. Our first story is from the subreddit AITH. Am I the a-hole? My mom feels my sister should have married my husband instead of me. I'm upset at my mom and my sister because of something my mother said, but everyone around me feels I'm overreacting. Please be brutally honest and tell me if I'm being insecure or if my mom and my husband are wrong in this. Let me give you a bit of backstory. My husband, James, 34-year-old male, and I, 29-year-old female, were neighbors growing up. My sister, Fran, 34-year-old female, was in the same grade as my husband growing up. Everyone knew my sister in school because she's very smart and beautiful. James had a huge crush on her, and all of us knew about it. He asked her out for senior prom, and Fran shot him down in front of the whole school. They still remained friends, but he moved to a different state for college, and we did not hear much from him, except see him when he came back for holidays. James and I were never friends growing up, since I was in middle school when this happened. In fact, I was much younger than both of them, and they would actively avoid me or involving me in their hangouts and activities. I went to a good college and got my first job in the same city as James. My mom suggested I should contact James since I didn't know anyone there. We became friends, and 3 years later, we got married. We both have high paying jobs and love our life. We moved back to our hometown during COVID as James' mom had health issues and our jobs allowed us to work remotely. Fran also had a pretty good life. She married when she was 23, and her husband was pretty well off. 2 years ago, Fran discovered that he was cheating on her for almost the entire duration of the marriage with multiple partners, and she decided to break things off. Fran moved back with my mom. Fran had not worked for an entire duration of the marriage and was expecting to gain significant alimony from the divorce. However, due to complications regarding the prenup, she barely got anything and is struggling financially. She got a job but is barely able to afford her own place and continues living with my mom. James and I were very supportive of her during the whole process. Since James and Fran were friends growing up, they both have a special bond. They have their inside jokes and stories, and I sometimes feel like a third wheel when we all meet. However, James keeps his distance and has never given me any reason to believe that he has lingering feelings for her. Fran, on the other hand, constantly visits us like 2 to 3 times a week and ends up staying for dinner and sleeping in our guest room. I don't mind her coming over, but I don't like the fact that she talks more to James than with me. Also, she always comes over when I'm not at home, and I often find them sitting next to each other on the sofa and watching TV when I get home. It sort of reminds me of a childhood where I was locked out of our basement when Fran had friends over, and I would feel left out. Fran is also too comfortable around James and walks around the house in just a towel after her shower when James is around, or sleeps in her underwear in the guest room without locking the door. Um, OP, how does one put this delicately? I think your sister is trying to get your man. Like, I think there's something weird going on here. I get that she's okay, she's divorced, she's going through a tough time, she doesn't work, she's living with the mom. Sister wants to visit you, OP, her sister. That makes sense. You know, you want to be surrounded by loved ones when something horrible has happened. But this just bothers me. Does she have no sense of awareness or is this something else? I get that the I guess James, the OP's husband, and Fran grew up in the same school, but James moved away for college and for work. That's where he met OP again and reconnected and then they got married, right? So it's not like they're BFFs. They just went to the same high school together. They're kind of like, you could almost say they're sort of childhood friends ish, I guess. But it doesn't even seem like their friendship is that deep. It's just more like, oh, they have some shared experiences. It's not enough for her to come over 2 to 3 times a week to your house and to be parading around your house in her underwear and just a towel after showers, that's weird. Genuinely, that's weird. I I don't know. Maybe I'm over. No, I don't think I'm overreacting to this. I think OP, you're right to have your guard up and sitting around with the sofa. Like, not that there's anything wrong with watching a show with your sister in law, but it's kind of weird that you guys are hanging out so much when OP, your wife, isn't there. But that's just me. But let's see. OP says, I voiced my concerns to her, but she says that we're family and she doesn't care. I've also voiced my concerns to James, and he does make efforts now to explain stories and inside jokes if friend makes them. Okay, but to be honest, if my partner had, I don't know, if my fiance had his best friend over, if he's not here, I'm kind of gonna do my own thing. We're not gonna hang out and watch TV together. We're not gonna have these long extended chats. Our chats are probably gonna end more like, "Oh, how was your day? Cool. How was your day? It was good. Okay, I'm just gonna do my own thing now. Let me know if the house is on fire. You need help with anything." And that's it. Like, be a good host, but you don't have to accommodate them so often. It's just a little weird to me. I don't know, I'm getting weird vibes. But let's see. OP says the main issue happened this weekend. I was hanging out with my mom and friend last weekend, and friend was recollecting stories about how James would do her homework and do chores for her growing up. She said, quote, he was so much in love with me, and I felt guilty taking advantage of him. My mom jokingly said to her that I wish you had the wits to marry James than your loser husband, and you would not have been in this situation. Fran smiled after hearing that and nodded, but I was hurt by the comment. I protested to my mom and that James is my husband, and I don't want her to make such comments about him. My mom doubled down and said that she feels like it because both James and I are high earners while Fran is struggling. So it would make sense if Fran was married to James, and I would be fine since I don't need James to support me financially. What? Wait, so she didn't find that it was weird to be outwardly voicing out loud to both OP and Fran, the sister, that, oh, yeah, I do wish you married your sister's husband. Because you know what? They both make enough money and your sister wouldn't fine off. So you should have married your sister's husband because you're poor and apparently can't work, even though you studied and all that stuff as well. So I'm confused. Is this an issue of golden child where mom feels bad because sister deserves the best of everything and her life is now apparently falling apart? And so she's saying that as some sort of weird consolation? Or is she so odd as to think there's truly nothing wrong with what she just said? If someone, anyone, regardless, even if it was my own mom, said that, oh, someone else should be marrying your fiance, someone else should be marrying your husband, that is horrible, much less your own mom saying it. I'm grossed out. This would be enough for me to cut contact with both of them because sister doesn't know boundaries. Mom clearly doesn't understand boundaries. It's just bizarre. Opie says she kept on saying that it was a hypothetical and just wants both her daughters to be happy. I did not like those comments and told them to not speak like that around James and my marriage in general. Fran chimed in and told me that I shouldn't take the comment so personally and I'm being too sensitive. However, I had a fight with both of them and I left. I mean, how else does one take this comment not personally? Your mom is actively saying that someone else should have married your husband instead of you, and that the better couple would be someone else with your husband. Is that not personal? I don't know. I would feel personally attacked by this. Oh, oh, OP. I feel so bad for you. I feel really bad for her because it seemed like no one's on her side. And I'm kind of suspicious of the husband too, because it's one thing to explain an inside joke. It's another to say, hey, babe, and be proactive and do something and set boundaries. Because it takes two to sit at a sofa and watch TV together, you know? How would you react to this?
Where do I begin?
What are your thoughts on the family?
Uh, Mom is definitely out of line here.
This-
I just can't understand where she's even coming from. To okay, maybe you might have this thought in your head, but to say it out loud, say it in front of your daughter, who the husband, whose
right.
husband it is, right? Like who they're married to. That is just
And she doesn't find anything wrong with it. She doubled down. She's like, "No, no, it's just all hypothetical."
like, that doesn't matter if it's hypothetical or not. You should not be saying that. That is not normal. That I mean, you might think that, and that to me is also pushing it, but also just to put it out there in front of them is just I can't I can't understand that.
It's so outrageous. You know what's weird too? I wonder if it's coming from the fact that because sister and Opie's husband were kind of they grew up in the same area, went to the same school, were at the same age. Is this an issue where, oh, the parents always wanted them to get together and then they just never did?
I think that's a possibility, but besides that, you should see that your other daughter is now married to this man. You cannot be saying things like that.
It's so rude. What do you think about the sister's behavior though?
She's sus.
That is weird. Okay. You know the bone I have to pick? Who actually walks out of their shower only in a towel? I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up in a situation where we always shared a bathroom with family members, but I would never, even with my own parents in the house growing up, I always changed in the bathroom. Like you shower, you put on body lotion, whatever you got to do, and then you put on pajamas or loungewear, whatever it is, right? And then you leave the bathroom. I can't imagine ever walking out, even if I just live with my sister, in just a towel. That seems kind of weird. I don't know. Do people do that with their siblings?
I don't know about siblings, but I do think that people do that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like
Walk out
some
just
movies, for
naked?
example, you see that all the time.
But I feel like it's just a movie
Yeah,
thing.
but there's probably some truth to that. Not everyone, especially if you're sharing a bathroom, right? I mean, a lot of cases in these movies, people live in houses where each person has their own bathroom. They bathroom
Oh,
leads
well,
directly to the bedroom,
must be
right?
nice.
Yeah, bedroom like
Well, I get that if it's like a private bathroom, but if it's a communal bathroom thing, I would
even
find it
yeah.
weird.
I mean, that's not for me, but I see it in the movies, for example. So I would think maybe that is
Have
a
you
thing
ever
that
done it? Like in
no,
a communal bathroom setting?
no,
You okay, maybe it's irrational, but the reason why I find it weird to that is what if someone breaks in? Like say you're showering, like I feel like my worst nightmare is if someone breaks in home invasion style and you're naked in the shower. Because I feel I want to be caught like well, I don't want to be caught naked. But when I think about not that pajamas would really give me that much to work with, to be honest, of defending myself against like a home invader or like a thief or a robber or whatever. But it's the thought of at least I'm clothed and I can somewhat handle what's going to happen. Maybe to defend yourself. Because it's just if a robber breaks in and you're stepping out of the shower and you exit the bathroom and you're only in a towel, what are you going to do? Nothing you say is going to intimidate this home invader. But if you're clothed, at least you have a leg to stand on.
yeah, I don't
That's
know.
that's my philosophy with this.
I can't comment on that.
Why?
I don't know. It's just-
It makes sense, right? Would you rather face a home invader naked or with clothes?
See, I don't know. That's a good
What?
question.
Why would you
Is
not
that there's
know?
the opposite. Like, if you even on YouTube, there are videos where you have to like if someone's I guess trying to fight you or something, and you act crazy, like no one's gonna do it.
Like you out crazy them?
Yeah, well, yeah, like you out crazy them. There used to be, I don't want to call it a trend or something, but um, it's like I guess those YouTube prank videos where someone would try to fight someone, and then they would just like drop their pants, and then right
What?
away the other party would not want to fight them. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like this is just weird.
Wait, is that real?
Like you can look it up. Probably those videos are still up. I would
That's great.
assume.
I did not know that was a thing. See, I'm not gonna go look it up because I don't want to see what's gonna happen. But there's a similar trend, like where you know how being a girl sometimes sucks, right? So you have there's like a bajillion internet videos of women just trying to walk down a street, or like sometimes they're after work, they're trying to walk home, and inevitably some creepy dude comes along, right? And like starts following them. I've been in that experience too, guys, where it's just normal afternoon. I'm clocking out of work and there's some weirdo dude that starts following me. And I'm just like, why? Why? Please don't do this. And it's a terrifying experience. But in these videos, some of these women They act crazy. So when they notice some dude is following them, they turn around, like with their phone, right? They turn around, they start talking to the dude, and then they start screeching and chasing after the dude that followed them. And then the dude always like ends up like in total like shock and then starts sprinting the opposite way. And I guess it makes sense to me because I'm like, you have to kind of out crazy the crazy sometimes. That being said, though, I never would have imagined that given the question of would you rather face off with a home invader clothed or clothless, you said I don't know because sometimes you have to out crazy the crazy. I would have never imagined that would be your answer. Moral of the story here, guys, is I don't know. I am team out of the shower. I better be clothed and be semi prepared for anything. But you guys should comment below and let me know. Let me know what you would prefer. Now, OP says, when I came home and told James, he also sided with my mom and Fran and told me that her mom just made a harmless joke. I also raised the issue of Fran's behavior around our house, and he told me that this is between me and my sister, and he's not going to tell Fran about what she can or cannot wear in our house. However, I'm just feeling really bad about since the situation, and despite everyone apologizing to me, things just don't feel right. Am I wrong here in reacting the way I did, or does everyone else have a point? And maybe I should be more secure about my relationship with James? Already, our first story is sounding a little bit hectic and chaotic. And if this is just right up your alley, don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe for more stories like this, guys. Thanks, guys. OP. OP. I hope you were prepared. Perhaps you should, I can't believe we're dropping it already, but drop the D, divorce. Now, before you guys start telling me, whoa, 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 what did James do? Let me tell you what he did. OP, your wife, comes home, tells you the issue about what her mom says and what her sister says about how you should be with the sister. And his reaction is, yeah, babe, you overreacted. Your mom was just making a joke. If that isn't enough of a sign for you, OP, I don't know what to say. You need to run. This is not the man for you. And I bet you he still harbors some feelings for the sister because he was doing her homework, he was doing her chores when they were back in high school or whatever, and he had this massive crush on her. I don't think it went away. Because when I think about if anybody, especially a family member, especially my mom, said even about me, right? Even if they told my partner and said, "Hey, so V would be better off with someone else," or "V should have been someone else's wife." That would set alarm bells for me. I would immediately back my partner up because that is just not something you say ever. Yeah, the fact that James is siding with the mom and sister, that's a no for me. I get the situation where he's saying, "Oh, well, I don't want to tell your sister what she can or cannot wear in our house." But I think it's different if you say it without consulting with your partner, but your wife is coming to you and saying, "This is something I'm really uncomfortable with. I've tried talking to her, she's not listening." And she wants you to back her up, like united front, mutually tell her together. And you're kind of saying, "Oh, no, 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 I'm not gonna have any conversation about this." Yeah, it's suspicious to me. It's weird. And it's even odder to me that James doesn't feel any sort of weirdness with Fran coming over so often and doing the things that she's been doing. Heck, he's even spending afternoons watching TV with her on the sofa. So when Opie's not home. I think the key word here is I'm not saying you should avoid all women to the point where you can't look at them, you can't like interact with them at all, especially family members. But to interact with them so often without your partner present one on one only is weird. This is not an insecurity thing. I think there are so many red flags here all over the place from the sister to the mom to James. I wouldn't be surprised if you break up with your husband, James, and 5 months later, you get a wedding invitation to your sister, Fran, and James's wedding, and your mom's attending. Is that crazy to say? I wouldn't be surprised. What do you think?
I think when you put it that way, I can see that. I can see that being a possibility. Not to say that
Oh.
is happening, but I think the addition of these many, I think quite a few small little things that add up, and then things start to make no sense. I guess.
I am suspicious.
the husband and OP's sister, they did have some kind of history together, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't completely nothing. The OP's husband did try to ask her out right in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So there was something. Not to say that there's still anything right now, but I I'm getting a feeling that the husband also kind of enjoys that attention uh, from OP's sister.
I think you're right. Maybe I'm thinking about it too simply. Like, because I was thinking it just feels like she's the third party to everybody here. OP feels like the third party. And I was thinking maybe they're just waiting for OP to just back out on her own so that Fran and James can have their own happily ever after or whatever it is, right? But you're right. I'm thinking about it too simply. It could be that James really is just enjoying the attention, but he kind of wants to enjoy both types of cakes, if you get my drift. Why are you laughing?
Uh,
Get it? They're both
that's
cakes.
yeah, I get that. I think it's a possibility, but I don't see it being there yet.
Yet?
Yet, I think it's a possibility. Um, so I would leave it at that.
Well, let's see what comments say. First comment from No Imagination. Not the whole. Your sister's really hanging on to the fact that he liked her in high school. This is probably because she's at such a low point in her life. She needs to wake up and learn boundaries. Your mother encouraging her is ridiculous. She should be saying that sisters should be more like you, financially independent and in a stable marriage. That's a really good point. Wouldn't that be the more logical response of parenting? Wouldn't you say, oh, if you're going to make any comparisons, right? Wouldn't it be, oh, like, I hope you get into more, become more stable in your life, get into a better relationship, pick a better guy next time? No, no, no. Mom just went straight to, see, if only you didn't marry your husband and married your sister's husband instead. Yes, that's the way to do it. Parenting of the Year award belongs to the mom, clearly. Another comment from Yoga Lover Gal. Not that your mother's comment was inappropriate and disrespectful towards your marriage. And it's concerning that your husband is dismissing your feelings about Fran's behavior. It's not about insecurity, it's about wanting respect in your relationship and home. Now, OP replies, this has been a pattern through my life. Due to age difference, Fran has always treated me like a kid. I just felt insulted that my mom completely ignored my feelings while making such comments. However, a part of me has also been jealous of Fran because of all the attention she got, and I was the nerdy little weird girl in our family. Hmm. You know what it is? OP keeps referencing this age difference. Let me check again because I'm pretty sure the age difference wasn't even that crazy.
It's 5 years.
It's 5 years. OP's 29, James and sister's 34. It's 5 years. They make it seem like they have like a decade long age difference. 5 years after, I feel like after your beginning 20s to mid late 20s and above, age difference becomes a very interesting thing. A lot of things change when you become a teenager to a young adult. I think that's true. So a lot of the decisions that you make and who you are and your personality, a lot of that is tumultuous and changes like at least 5 times. But when you're kind of like mid to late 20s and 30s and 40s, I feel like your life is not usually changing that much unless something crazy happens in your life. But for the most part, you are who you are. Like you've matured into yourself a bit more, I think, and you're slightly more set in your ways. So I think they're just using age as a way to put you down, OP. I think that's what it is. They're wielding it like a weapon. Because think about it. Fran doesn't have a husband. Not that there's anything wrong with that concept at all, but she's not in that stable relationship that she craves. She doesn't have a financial career or anything like that. She doesn't even have a job lined up. Well, you have all of that, right? This is probably the only area that Fran feels like she can have a leg up on you, literally existing longer. Another comment from Saxonville Shagwar. Well, no more coming home to your sister in your house hanging out with your husband alone. She can come over when you're home or not at all. And no more of her spending the night. She's trying and it's so desperate. It's just sad. See, I'm not the only one convinced that sister is actively trying. Ugh. Honestly, who needs a mortal enemy when you got a sister like this? So this story's pretty new. It's 4 days old. We don't have a verdict yet, but most of the comments are saying not the a-hole. Now, our next story is our wild pick. Wild pick is exactly that, a story that's a little bit kooky, a little bit chaotic, and I picked it because I felt you guys needed to hear it. This one is from the subreddit AITH. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my coworkers take over the fish tank my employer allows me to keep in the office? I've never heard of a situation where you're allowed to take your fish tank to work. I feel like it's a little bit more difficult than taking a dog or cat to work. But who knows? Maybe I'm just imagining OP's walking in to work every day with his little like goldfish in a tank or something. He says, "So, buckle up, folks. This is rather intriguing. I've been allowed by my employer to keep a small aquarium at my desk, which is something I'm really passionate about. I'm a bit of a fish enthusiast and enjoy maintaining the tank, ensuring the fish are happy and the environment is balanced. It's a small, peaceful hobby that brightens my workday and has become a conversation starter in the office." Oh, OP kind of reminds me of Elmo.
Why?
What?
Why Elmo?
Oh, because Elmo loves his goldfish. You know the song?
No.
Elmo loves his goldfish, his
Nope.
crayons too. Am I crazy? Is this not a universal experience? So Elmo is a character, is the red furry. Basically, he's like this character from Sesame Street, which is a kids show, right? And he sings a song, all that stuff, and he's a very popular kids toy, even now, I think. And he always has goldfish, and I forgot what his. Oh, he had a goldfish named Dorothy, Dorothy the goldfish that he has, right? And so there's a song that he sings on the show. I don't know if they still do it, but it's like Elmo loves his goldfish, and it's literally just him loving his goldfish, Dorothy. OP, you're kind of like Elmo to me. He says, recently, a few of my coworkers came up with the idea of turning my tank into a sort of a office fish project. They want to add new fish to the tank and have everyone vote on which species we should get. Their suggestions range from goldfish to guppies and even more exotic ones like cichlids, cichlids. If anyone knows what fish this is, let me know. Hold on, let me actually Google what fish this is. I don't think I'm that knowledgeable about fish in general, but I'm very curious about to what type of fish this is. Oh, I don't know why I said oh as if I recognize this fish. This fish just looks like any other aquarium fish to me. So this is what it looks like. Ta-da! It looks almost like a silver fish. It's like a zebra looking fish, like black stripes on a silvery looking fish. Cute, cute, I guess. So OP goes. Even more exotic ones like cichlids. I'm hoping one of those was right, which is clearly impractical for a tank of this size. They think it's a fun team building exercise and that we should all pitch in for the maintenance. Here's the problem, this tank is mine. It's allowed by the company specifically for me to manage, and I've put a lot of care into creating a balanced, healthy environment for the fish I already have. Most of the species they're suggesting don't belong together or require different care than what I've set up. For example, goldfish are cold water fish, while my current tank is tropical. Plus, the idea that everyone in the office would help take care of it is unrealistic. Maintaining a tank properly requires more knowledge than just throwing some food in once a day. Oh, OP, I feel so bad for you. I see what this is. It's your nosy office workers wanting a piece of the pie or wanting a piece of the fun. They definitely think that all you need to take care of a fish is to throw in some, fish pebbles or fish flakes in and call it a day. And I feel like OP's like the kid with a shiny new toy and everyone wants to have a go at it. Oh man. See, I have some pet owning experience when it comes to fish. So growing up, I always wanted a pet. And my parents, they said, sure, you can have a pet. So guess what I got? Just guess.
Goldfish?
No, koi fish.
Oh.
What am I going to do with fish? Regardless, koi fish are very pretty, right? But I never understood, no offense to any fish owners, but what do you do with pet fish? You can't walk it. You can't pet it. It's kind of advised for you not to touch it. So most of the time, you're just looking at them as they go, just, floating around and stuff. Like, what do you do with fish? Honestly. And no offense to those that own fish, but I just don't derive any joy. I remember telling my parents, Mom, Dad, I would love a pet. Can we please get a puppy? Because most kids, of course, you want a puppy, right? Something you can play with, like a creature you can enjoy, bond with. You cannot bond with fish. I think I read somewhere, isn't it like goldfish have 5 seconds of memory or something? I don't even know if that's true.
Doesn't sound like it's true, but could be.
I mean, for all I know, I don't think the fish could recognize me. Later on in life, I won a goldfish from, I think, a carnival. You know how like there's games at the carnival where you can scoop up a toy and then like if you pick up the right rubber ducky or you do something, you get a fish in a bag. Which now I'm thinking back is very probably not the most ethical prize to give out to children, to young kids. But me being, you know what? I'm going to learn to love fish because I can't get any other pets. So you know what? Fish it is. In high school, I got 2 fish that I called Salt and Pepper. When I tell you, I was so happy with them. They were so cute. At the time, I had a small little tank, well, small-ish tank for them. They were happy. They were thriving. They got bigger, and clearly they needed a more, a nice tank with a filter and all that fancy stuff, right? Lucky for me, my dad has a fish tank with a koi fish in there. Can you guess where the story is going?
One fish ate the other.
How did you know? You're like a magician. So, anyways, koi fish is yay big, right? I asked my dad, wait, are salt and pepper going to be okay? And my dad was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So in went salt and pepper with the big koi fish. I dropped them in. In less than 30 seconds, salt and pepper met their end. I'm so sad. Literally, I'm so sad. I even forgot about this memory. That koi fish just gulped up salt and pepper in like 2 seconds. So that is my relationship with fish pets. Regardless, you guys can tell why I much prefer cats now rather than fish. So, OP, I have complicated feelings for you and your fish situation, but I also know what it feels like when it is your animal, your pet that you have a bond with, and someone else is trying to chime in and kind of take a piece of it or be part of this without actually taking responsibility. So, I don't like where this is headed already, but let's see. Opie says, I've explained my concerns, but they're brushing it off, saying I'm being overly protective and I'm taking this too seriously. They think it's just a fun little project, but it's more than that to me. This is my personal hobby approved by my employer, and I don't want the stress of managing a chaotic tank or dealing with dead fish because someone thought a beta and a guppy could live together. Nah. In my case, someone thought a koi fish and a goldfish could live together, so Opie says, now the office seems split. Some people are on my side, understanding that it's my personal tank, while others think I'm being selfish for not letting them turn it into a communal thing. They keep saying I'm not being a good team player. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my coworkers turn my personal employer-approved fish tank into their office-wide project? Edit from OP, my fish, my tank, my own money, my rules. What do you think OP should do? Do you think he's the a-hole for refusing?
I don't think so.
Really? You don't think he should give up his precious tank for the office? Because technically it is at the office.
Right. So I'm somewhat conflicted about that. I think if the office they want a fish tank, maybe they should ask for one to have a communal fish tank.
I agree.
But I'll also see issues with this coworker having a fish tank because that's a bit, I think, unusual, and that also opens opportunities. Well, if someone else wants some kind of pet or some, someone else wants a fish tank, what is the employer supposed to do in that case? Should they grant another person having a fish tank? So everyone's going to have fish tanks now?
Everyone gets a fish tank.
Yeah,
See,
I don't know.
This is where I think we might disagree. Because I know the idea that's like, oh, well, what if, like you said, you give one person permission for a fish tank. Next thing you know, everybody wants a fish tank, right? But then I say, yeah, let everyone get a fish tank. Let everyone bring their pets to work. If you're going to be unhinged, you might as well go all the way. Like, why just go midway, I feel like here's the thing. Most people won't do it, though, because they like the novelty of seeing it in the office and the attention that it's getting OP, I think. But they don't actually want to take care of a fish tank. They just want to join in on like, oh, someone got something, so I got it. I think the smart thing to do for the employer, I think, is to say, hey, so you can apply to bring your own fish tank to work, but you better take care of it. And there shouldn't be issues with maintenance or any of that. Because if that's an issue, you're going to lose the fish tank. And that way, people will stop bothering OP because it's almost like they're all directing their attention and blaming OP for this when I think it's a management issue because that's OP's personal property. It's not like it's the office fish tank that he took over. No, it's he brought in his own tank and he's maintaining it and he's taking care of it. So, and it brightens up his day. And I think it's a pretty harmless addition in a workplace. I don't think it's a liability issue either. So, in my opinion, let there be fish tanks for all. Or, well, I'm kind of joking, but why not just, like you said, add a communal fish tank? But then the issue is if you're going to do that, you better have people who are going to sign up and take care of it. Because I have a feeling these folks don't know anything about fish. From what OP's saying, like people want to put all these different types of fish together. And he's like, yeah, those don't go along. So I'm hoping there is no, if you want to avoid the whole, in my case, koi fish and goldfish situation, OP, well, employer, then I think you're better off either being very specific with the policy for pets and saying, okay, here's the approval process, here's what you need to do, or make it a pet-free office, unfortunately, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
First comment, their nonsense is going to have your tank taken away or sabotaged. Oh, that's so sad. I kind of see that happening. I do feel like management is more likely to say, okay, if this is just going to be such an issue in the office, no one gets to have a tank anymore. I want Obi to have his tank. I want Elmo to have his goldfish.
Yeah. It seems like that's the most probable outcome from what I can see.
Oh, that's so... See, I would hate the coworkers who did that, who caused this to happen, because you just stole the joy from the office. Because of your dumb jealousy of wanting fish or chime in, whatever, you couldn't have just enjoyed the fish tank like everyone else from afar. No. You needed to get a piece. So now no one gets to enjoy the fish tank. That's what it feels like.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Down with the coworkers. Another comment, not the hard line in the sand time. Quote, this is my personal tank approved by management. If you want to do an office tank, it's up to you to speak to the management and organize it, but it will be separate to my personal tank. Jerks like that are exactly the flavor of numbskull that'll arrive in the office early, whack a bunch of male betas in a tank, and then wonder why all the fish are fighting and eating each other later on. Yeah, I feel so bad. I agree. I mean, most of the comments are suggesting that either OP's going to have to take the fish tank home because they're thinking the same thing, which is management is going to be putting a lockdown and saying no to all the tanks from now on. Or some people are speculating that the coworkers, well, that OP might want to put a lock on the tank in case some coworkers start wanting to sabotage him or take a fish or two or whatnot, or add a fish or two and add chaos to his tank. So I agree. I just hate this so much. You know what it is? It's a philosophy. I think sometimes there's that philosophy, especially in work or school environments, where it's almost like, oh, we can't, like, this is why we can't have nice things, because if one person has a nice thing, people can't just accept it. Everybody, even if it's not something that they value, they need to have a part in it. They need to have a stake in it. And that just annoys me because if I had a coworker who found joy in his day by having a little like tank at his desk and that's what he works at and that's his passion, I would find joy from him finding joy. Does that make sense? Like, I find it a very happy thing when other people around me are happy. So if he's a productive coworker and he's doing a stellar job and, you know, he's doing well in the project, is his like ray of light, who am I to judge him and who am I to stick my nose in where it doesn't belong? I would just say, oh, that's so cool that he does that. It's great that my company allows him to do that. And I would move on with my day. I get it if it's a benefits thing. Oh, he's getting paid like 20% more than everyone at the office. Okay, I might feel some sort of way about that because then I'd be like, okay, why am I not getting paid that, right? But a fish tank though? Is this where you want to cause drama in the office? Overall, I am totally on OP's side.
I mean, I am too. That's his personal fish thing, and you should have a say of what happens to it. At the same time, given that there is conflict around this, I think there's going to be
my
no
God.
fish tank in the office.
Now I just feel like The drama's not going to end with the fish tank though, because once you take the fish tank away, I bet you there's going to be drama in the office about whose fault it is that the fish tank got away. And Opie definitely seems like a disgruntled, unhappy worker to be. Oh, yeah, you can bet your butt there's going to be beef and drama in this office now. Opie, if you become a petty coworker, I would not blame you. I would be so petty. Like if I was given special permission to bring Mango or Beanie, my cats, to the office, and then because of some busybody like coworkers who are like, no, 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 let's make your cat a communal cat, office cat, I would literally blow up. I would be petty Betty in the office. That's all I'm saying. But let me know in the comments how you guys would react to this. If you got to bring any pet in or bring your special something to work, would you do it? And then if people wanted to make a communal thing, would you allow it? So our next story is from the subreddit AITH. Am I the a-hole for ruining my best friend's wedding? Ooh, OP put best friends in quotation marks. Something went down. OP says, me and my husband Mark were together for 4 years before I found out he was cheating on me. Everything was perfect, and then one evening, he sat me on the sofa and told me about his affair. I could not believe it. I just got up and packed my stuff. Oh, well, that escalated quickly. Okay. She says, I drove straight to my best friend Amy's house. We've been best friends since we were 5. I told her everything that happened, and she told me I could stay with her as long as I needed, since me and Mark lived together and I needed some time to find a place to move into. When her and her boyfriend Alex announced they were getting married, she asked me if I would be her maid of honor. And I'm not going to lie, it was such a stressful time for me as I was working full time and helping plan this wedding. Don't get me wrong, I felt so honored, but I was exhausted. She told me that she always wanted to have her wedding in a big open field with trees everywhere and around nature. And it so happened that my parents owned a ranch. So I asked if we could throw the wedding there. And obviously, since Amy had been part of our family for so long, she was like an adopted daughter. So my parents were more than happy to have her wedding there. The evening before the wedding, I was busy putting up some decorations. That is when one of the bridesmaids approached me, and I didn't know this girl. I think she was a coworker of Amy's. She just walked up to me and told me she was so impressed with me that despite everything, I was still willing to help Amy with her wedding. And I was like, sorry? She then went on to tell me that she knew that my best friend Amy had slept with my husband, Mark. Just take your mind back to the affair that he'd been having. And in perfect timing, Amy's soon to be husband, Alex, came just around the corner. I asked if he knew about this, and he told me that he did, in fact, know. Amy had told him because she didn't want to go through the marriage with any secrets. He said he made a promise to himself that after their honeymoon, he would tell me the truth. Oh my gosh. Uh, that backstabbing little, oh my gosh. So let me get this straight. So OP found out her husband was cheating on her and she's living with her husband. So then she went running to her best friend, which is usually what girls do, what someone would do. They would go to their friend or their family. If they found out that their partner was cheating, okay. She runs to the best friend's home, but not knowing that the best friend is the one that's cheating with her husband and is her best friend since they were 5. And then she has the audacity to then say, hey, I know you're dealing with a breakup, but can you be my maid of honor and help plan my wedding? That's some audacity. Oh my gosh. What's her name? What's the best friend's name again? Amy? Amy is playing such a devious game. It's shameless. I'm almost like impressed because I could never imagine. Did she not think she would get caught? Did she think that this was not going to blow up in her face in any way, shape, or form? And what's even crazier to me is so her fiance, the husband to be, Alex, like Amy's husband, Alex, or the groom, knows and wouldn't and didn't tell OP either. And instead he said, oh, yeah, I know. But I wasn't going to tell you until I promised that I wouldn't say anything to you until after the wedding. So she used your husband. She used you for the friendship. And then she used your wedding planning and resources. And she did it on purpose because she didn't want you to find out until after the wedding. Oh my gosh. This is not a best friend, OP. Are you sure she's not like a mortal enemy? Because only an enemy could be so devious to you. She took your man, she took your time, and she broke your heart, and she took your friendship while she was at it. Oh my gosh. Did you see that coming?
I don't believe the story. I'm sorry.
You don't?
No.
Which part is unbelievable to you?
I mean, to begin with, the husband basically outed himself saying, "Oh, I was cheating."
Yes.
Okay, and OP didn't really ask who it was with or any details about it. So that to me is, I guess, two red flags there, right? One is
Mm.
husband outing himself, and the OP not even asking about any details. Third red flag is that OP's best friend's husband knows about the affair, and I guess he's okay with it. And the wedding is happening like nothing ever happened. And another red flag with that is that OP's friend's, I guess, future husband was going to tell OP about the cheating after their honeymoon.
Well, after the wedding, but yeah.
Yeah. So just red flag after red flag after red flag. This whole thing seems so unlikely
So
and crazy that
here's the thing. I've seen so many crazy relationships and twists and turns, like not even just on Reddit, but in real life from people I know. I don't find it that believable. Like not that unbelievable. So I believe it. Now, regardless of this story is true, I mean, OP posted it saying it's true. So we kind of am just kind of going on a limb to trust OP here, of course. But even if it wasn't, there's definitely been people that have gone through this exact situation. Like, I am not surprised the audacity. Because, I mean, we've been through quite a few stories where also the bridesmaid cheated on the bride with the groom and then kind of just wasn't going to say anything about it or decided after because they thought, like, oh, but it's okay because you're married now. Or, like, they treat weddings like some sort of Hail Mary, like, it's fine. We're new people, new day, new me, new relationship, I guess, like type of thing. So I think you raised some good points. So it could or could not be true, but I have no doubts that someone has gone through this before. Some partners, I feel like, will confess their cheating just because they feel guilty. Like they just have a sudden bout of epiphany, I guess. But what bothers me the most, I can feel OP's hurt mostly from the best friend rather than the husband in this case. Because here, she didn't even find out from her best friend. She found out from some bridesmaid who was just kind of like, oh my God, you're so brave. You know, it's bad when a woman comes up to you and says anything that begins with the sentence of, you're so brave for XYZ. I'm so proud of you for still doing this despite this. I would be livid. I think I would go and sabotage the wedding. Like, I don't think this is even more than oh, we need to talk moment. This is more like I need to set fire to your freaking pretty forest wedding. I'm not encouraging forest fires, guys. I'm saying hypothetically. Oh yeah, and the fact that OP even asked her parents to use their ranch for her best friend's wedding, that hurts. I think that hurts. Like, it's just, you tried so hard to make it happen for your best friend, only to find out that your best friend's been lying to you and using you. But let's see. OP says he'd forgiven Amy and had asked me to do the same. And I again had no clue what to say. So I just got in my car and drove to my parents' house. And I told them everything that happened. They too were absolutely stunned and they couldn't believe it. That afternoon, I get a call from Amy. I got at least 100 more phone calls from her, and then it started with Alex trying to call me, and then it progressed to numbers I didn't even know. I finally found out on Facebook that my parents had thrown their entire wedding off their property. The wedding hadn't even taken place at all, and now Alex and Amy were both bad-mouthing me all over the place. But my parents said they didn't care. Anyone who asked why got the truth, which quickly had people siding with me. But I still get the occasional, it wasn't a big deal, and it was a one-time thing, or you're over-exaggerating from our mutual friends. So tell me what you all think. Was I exaggerating, or should I have handled it better? I don't know. Now, let's see what the comments say first. First comment from No Committee, nothing will, and I'm so proud of your parents. Another comment from Duckat, seems like your friends were using you all this time. Good thing your parents had the balls to do what needed to be done. Now it's your turn to act in kind and start looking for real friends. These people are obviously not. I mean, I'm agreeing with a lot of comments. First off, OP, drop anyone who's going to say that you're overreacting. Or better yet, but it's their wedding. It was her wedding. She planned for this. She had gas. Well, she should have planned to let OP know the truth sooner. Or better yet, plan to not invite OP and rely on OP for most of the planning because you're just asking for it at this point. No, OP, I don't think you were over exaggerating. Kudos to you for leaving your husband. I hope you're divorced by now. OP doesn't say to see if they're divorced or yet, just says that she had left and she'd been staying with Amy's house during the time. So OP does have an edit for this one. I've read all your kind comments and have decided to drop these mutual friends of mine who defended Amy. I'm currently healing through this as I've just lost the best friend of 22 years. But don't worry, I've thanked my parents profusely for how they protected me. Yeah, big win with the parents there. I'm so glad that they threw the entire wedding off. It's just, I like that they kind of waited till the wedding day to do it too. I kind of love that. So I'm just imagining Amy and Alex, like the bride and groom, just shamefully, awkwardly, like taking all their stuff and trying to leave the venue and leave the ranch space. I love it. I don't think many people might try to be, I don't know, they might feel awkward about such a bold public move. And they might say, oh, well, they're already here. We already said they could use the space, yada, yada, yada. Everything's set up. It's the wedding. So I'm really glad that parents had the guts to do what needed to be done. And Opie, you know what? The trash took care of itself. I hope I hope your next group of friends or the next people you meet will be kinder to you and will be genuine friends. Let's see if there are any updates to the story. So there are no updates on the story. There is a question in regards to a comment that M, or Mr. Deep Voice, as you guys call him, asked. So when you brought up the whole, okay, but OP didn't ask who he cheated with, come on, right? So commenter asked, you didn't ask Mark who he was cheating on you with? OP responded, I was in pure shock as I thought we were going to start a family together. I was so heartbroken that I didn't even stop to ask before packing my bags and going to the woman I thought was my friend. Oh, man. Well, regardless if it's true or not, I hope anyone who is going through OP situation, my heart goes out to you. And may you surround yourself with better groups of friends. You guys know I like to end our episodes with a last final, more heartwarming story. So I got one for you. This one's a little bit different from our usual. This is from the subreddit Engagement Rings. And OP says, so I didn't end up loving my engagement ring and thought I would share my fiance's response. OP says, I was really afraid of telling my fiance I was going to change my ring style. I originally shared with him my fears about having to remove it to wear gloves for work and feeling like it just sat up way too high. On top of that, though, it just really wasn't my style. I like unique but not over the top, and in a way, this felt very over the top to me without being creative or artistic. It looked a little Hallmark to me, and I'm covered in tattoos and very alternative, so I felt like he missed the mark a bit. We settled on keeping it, and I tried to just love it for what it was, but after lots of soul searching, I just had to be honest with him. So before I continue, let me read to you the conversation between OP and her fiance. OP says, after thinking very long and hard, I love my ring, but I think I'm going to have a consult with Joe to have it altered. I'm assuming Joe is their jeweler. I hate how much it catches on my hair, and I feel so bad for feeling this way. But when I look at it, I feel sad because it's not very me. I love it so much because you picked it for me, and it represents how much you love me and thought of me, but I don't feel like it represents me enough. And it makes me sad. I don't want you to feel bad or like you didn't do a good job, but I don't think I ever gave you enough of an example of what I liked, so I'm at fault too. But I just want to look at it without any regrets, and I want to feel like it represents my style more. Is that okay? I pulled like 3 hairs out of it this morning and I felt like I was going to cry out of frustration. OP's fiance said, of course, baby. I told you I didn't care if you wanted to change it. OP says, okay, I really gave it an honest chance and let myself love it. And I really do. But I just can't get over the functionality of it. But once I alter it, I'll feel much happier about it. I feel awful though. I don't want you to feel hurt or bad. Fiance said, baby, no, I want you to love it and be able to wear it and all that stuff. I completely support your decision and I'm glad you gave it a long, long chance. Okay, my love. Thank you. So Obi does attach a photo of her ring also. So I will show you guys what I'll post it up here too. But I think it's a very pretty ring. This is her original ring. I don't see any posts of, I guess, the new altered ring, but I hope she does update it. What do you think? It's pretty, right?
I can't really see that well, but it looks okay.
asking asking M,
looks
who
like
doesn't
a
really wear rings,
looks like
a ring.
a looks like a ring.
I think it's really cute. I think it's cute. So I guess for those of you girls who know jewelry, it is a solitaire stone. See, I'm very proud, guys, because in my engagement era, I did Google some rings and I'm a lurker on engagement ring subreddit because I love seeing people's happy moments and seeing what everyone has. So this is a solitaire stone. My guess is maybe like 2 carat diamond with a pave on the band and a little tapering on the band. Do you guys like my jewelry lingo there? You probably didn't understand anything of what I just said.
Sure.
But I think it's a pretty ring. There can be drama when it comes to engagement rings. Traditionally, at least in the US, it's fiance or I guess groom picks the ring out and then, gives it to his fiance or the bride to be, and proposes with that, right? And I know that sometimes the bride will give her best friends like pictures of the exact ring she wants or a whole Pinterest board. And then the groom will then kind of behind the bride's back whisper to the best friend, like, hey, so what type of rings does she like again? Right? So that the bride can still be surprised while getting the ring she wants. Other times there are some brides that just don't care and they just want their fiance to pick it out, which is cool too. And then now I know that not as traditional, but a lot of couples are also picking their rings together, which I love the idea of because then you get the surprise element still from you don't know when the proposal is going to officially happen, but you're going to get the exact ring you want. So, that being said, I do love my engagement ring as well. I usually like hold out, sometimes I hold it out to M and I'm like, blinding. And he's like, ah, or he'll be like, ah. It used to be more enthusiastic. Now that's been so long, he's like, I'm like, ah, like he's blinded.
I'm already blind.
No.
I've been blinded one too many times.
Yeah.
Can't see anything.
Yeah, you can't see the shine. Blinding. He's just shaking his head. See, it used to be, ah. It's funny because I'll do this to my parents too. And at least my mom is the one that leans into it a lot. She'll literally go, oh no. Like she's super dramatic. So it's fun. That's fun. But I love the story so much because you can see their love for each other. It's so sweet. And I am of the philosophy of tradition, schmadition, like whatever works for the couple works for them. And no one else should have any say about it. But I'm really glad here that OP tried to give it a chance and it just really wasn't her as a ring. And so she was honest with her partner and her partner totally understood and, just wanted her to be happy and didn't kind of see this as some sort of, some sort of personal attack. So I really love that for them. OP didn't update the post with her new ring, but I hope she does so we can see it. I'm really happy for both of them and congrats, OP, on your happy engagement. Now I got some comments. First comment, that is a really sweet reaction from him and kudos to you for being honest with him and yourself. Glad you posted this because I am proposing in about a week and want to make it clear to my girlfriend that it is okay if she wants us to look for a different ring if she isn't in love with the one I got her. OP replies, I'm not much of a poster, but this is exactly why I shared. I figured this might help someone if there are any gray areas in the matter. Haha. Good luck, by the way. I hope she loves her ring. Oh, the comments are so wholesome. I love it. Another comment from Camping with Cats. Love this username. What the F? A happy and understanding reply on Reddit? Congratulations. I'm happy for you and your beau, OP. Wishing you many years of happiness. Oh, and a lot of comments just kind of shared their ring recommendations for something that's less traditional that wouldn't get caught with hairs and all of that. So super, super duper happy with OP. Oh, I'm so happy for OP. If you guys ever want to kind of go into like a wholesome subreddit, I highly recommend going to r/engagement rings on Reddit. Like it's so wholesome and people are so happy and supportive of each other in the subreddit. Good luck and congrats again, OP. And if you guys have any sort of, I don't know, romantic proposal or even an engagement story of your own that you'd like to share, please do let me know in the comments. I am nosy and that I love hearing about love. So do share. And if you guys like to hear more stories about this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more stories. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and if you're listening to me on Spotify, don't forget to rate me 5 stars, guys. and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.